Greetings, dear ones. We are the High Council of Orion. Let's continue our conversation, our exploration into a place of peace, empowerment, and understanding. And what wants to come through in this moment is being able to invoke, if you will, call in, if you will, the energy that you would like to have in your life in this moment in time. For once again, this was said in a prior message, the human is habituated to feel that the world is there solidly. It's a given, and therefore then my response to it is as if it's a solid, unchanging landscape. And what you're finding right now is that landscape, that worldview that for a long time has appeared a certain way, has changed rapidly. And yet, here you are, correct? Here you are having an experience in a time where things became very unsettled very quickly. And you have no choice, really, but to begin to rely heavily on yourself. What have you cultivated? What have you developed? What have you grown? What would you teach others? That knowledge, that wisdom that you have believed to be true, and you have worked on changing your life because of it, it's time to bring it all to the table now. What do you really believe? If you have written articles or spoken in front of people or had one-on-one conversations or lived your life with the idea of something to be true, and many of you have thought it to be true in the future, correct? You've said, well, when we're in a 5D field, this is what it's going to be like. This is how I'm going to be. This is how we're all going to be. Sound familiar? When these things happen, when there's a different government, when there's a different economy, when there are different people on the planet, when there's a different vibration, these things are going to be true, and this is how we're going to live. Correct? This sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Now is the time to pluck it out of the future, and all the things that you thought you would do, be, and experience, you want to, in a sense, invoke now. Be now. If you believe that fifth dimensional living means that people are kind and generous and loving and understanding with one another, do it now. Now's the time to bring all that you believe to be true in the future, when you envisioned certain different circumstances in place, almost like, well, this is who we're going to do, be, and feel and interact, then do it now. Now's the moment to not hold back. Now's the moment to bring profound understanding, less judgment, greater level of compassion, brotherhood, humanity. And here's the big one: trust. So let's talk about how one can, in a sense, invoke, call in, or be the things that you think you would like to be seeing or that you envisioned in this future scenario. Giving everyone a moment to think about that. What were those future scenarios that I believed to be true? And what did I think the world needed to look like in order for me to really embody it? Or I couldn't fully embody it because we weren't in that right time, place, or experience. Now's the time to bring it all to the table. So let's talk about bringing in the energy, again, energy, the vibration, the experience of trust. This is a pivotal energy. There are many, but trust is, again, a very expansive energy field. It's a solid energy field as well. When trust is in place in a really authentic way, it's solid. And one could look at the world around and you could say, but I can't trust them. They're not trustworthy. They're not communicating. They're not doing the right things. The world would not be in the place it is today if I could trust them. But what can you do is begin to bring the energy of trust into your energetic experience of life, even if things are unsettled. Just think for a moment. You've had experiences with trust, whether it's in a circumstance or another person or a group of people. You've all experienced some level of trust. And maybe the only experience of trust you've ever had is yourself. But just imagine that anyone you would interact with, whether it's somebody at the bank, a close friend, a relative, a good friend, a colleague, imagine if you could 100% trust everyone in your life experience. That's a big energy, isn't it? That would be incredible to experience. Because what trust implies is you feel safe. If I trust you, I know I'm safe with you. If you trust me, you know you're safe with me. And safe could be in a physical sense. It could be in a mental and emotional sense. It could be in a loving, emotional, relational sense. But the way you can cultivate a greater level of trust is not waiting for things to look trustworthy around you. So here's how it goes. I choose to trust myself right now. I'm going to trust that I'm in the right place in the right moment, having the right experiences, even if it doesn't make sense to me. I trust I'm going to have a successful experience in an uncertain time. I trust I know how to respond appropriately. I'm going to trust my soul brought me to the right place at the right time to contribute in the way that is most needed and necessary right now, even if I don't know what that is in this moment. You see, the mind wants to have all the things laid out and know what it's like, but it's not there right now. So it's that trust in oneself without knowing what you're trusting in except yourself, your perception, your emotions, your ability to respond. This is a big thing. So if one can breathe and release fear and move into a greater place of, I'm going to cultivate, I'm going to affirm trust in myself, trust in my ability to respond. I'm going to cultivate a very strong environment, an energetic environment of trust in my space, trust in myself, trust in the world around me. And this is something you can cultivate for yourself. And when you're in a strong energetic field of trust, once again, your energy field is bigger. You have a greater view, if you will, of potentials, of opportunities, of possibilities that may not look the way they've always looked before. But the fact that you're not maybe going to move on the same track you were in doesn't mean it's all disastrous. It means you've just maybe moved to a different track. It may be new territory. It may be something you had never thought about before. But the fact that it is different doesn't mean that it's inappropriate. It doesn't mean you might not even have a whole lot more fun with it. But sometimes the changing is unsettling because it's new, it's different. You've got to find your way. So if it's new and it's different, you're going to have to find your way. Can you just say to yourself, I'm going to choose to trust myself in this moment. And you notice that huge word in there, choose. Can you choose to trust yourself? Choose to trust that there's something here that's absolutely right about this experience for you, even if you don't know what the outcome is yet. But being able to release fear, which expands your energy field, bring in more trust, it's expanding your energy field. The people who will successfully navigate an uncertain time are people who keep their energy field strong, open, aligned, and not in a narrow track of conclusions. I need to hang on to it being a certain way when that certain way is crumbling in your hands. So it's creativity. It's open to something new and different that you hadn't thought of yet. Trusting yourself and your capacity. Trusting your creativity. So play with this energy of choosing trust, even in a moment where you don't know what you're trusting, but you can trust yourself. And you don't even have to fully trust yourself yet. If I say, I'm going to choose to trust myself, you're not saying you have to, but it's a choice you want to make because it feels good to be in that place and cultivate that sense of trust in yourself. And it's shifting from trying to trust and stabilize the world around you to trusting and stabilizing yourself in this moment. Trusting that the world needed to change in order for change to happen. So stay with your visions, stay with your dreams, stay with all that you feel that you know is a potential. And while it's changing, these are some tools that you can use to help you stay afloat. Help you find new ways of being with yourself, the world, and others around you. Be blessed. We are the High Council of Orion.